I've been riding on a daydream. So I made a disaster in the back of my truck, but I swept it out. We got to go back out there and take a look at something. But Heidi got her little cutting board sink cover or whatever. She's going to seal this off, and maybe we'll put some rubber in here or something to help it from moving around. I know that it's not needed, but I just think it'd be kind of nice to have that. But yeah, so we've got a cover based on what we cut out for the sink. It's kind of nice. It matches. So I got to work on this area. Let's go take a look at that. That's going to be a whole nother project and a whole nother mess. You can see all the sawdust and everything from that cut. So I get a couple boxes here. Yeah, you know what's in these boxes. I know what's in these boxes. Let's just get it out and show you. This is the stovetop from now on in the RV. It's going to allow us to still utilize this countertop if we're not cooking for maybe like Heidi's induction cooker. But the best part is it's not very big. It's not as small as the one that we wanted initially, but you know, this one was $200, $215 versus the $400 situation that we were trying to get initially that was kind of small. Just to give you a heads up on these, you're going to order this part, the glass top, and what they call the flush mount or the drop-in. It's separate. You do not get it all as one. You buy the stove. The stove can be mounted on top of the countertop with what they call, it's still called a drop-in, or you can buy this and cut a little bit bigger hole and your stove will go in. Let me show you what I'm talking about. The links will be down below for this so you guys don't get confused. But yeah, let me go ahead and show you. All right, this piece over here, this is a drop-in stove. It drops in just like you would think. This sets up above the countertop then. So although the stove drops in to the counter, it still sits above the counter whenever it's all mounted. This then is a drop-in cover. This will accompany this and allow it to go even further down in your cabinet until you're pretty much flush mount. There is some height to it, of course, because the lip. But the worst part I can see so far from this whole contraption is they don't give you a template. I mean, it would have been so easy to do. So this is it. This is going to be our new stovetop. Let me go ahead and start working on this. It's going to be so loud and dusty when I'm cutting in there, you won't be able to hear anything. So it's the next day, and the reason that I didn't do anything last night is because I wanted to make sure that I talked it over with Heidi and how she wanted this placed. And even though it's not centered up right now, it is pretty close to where we're going to put it. Relatively cool today. I don't know if you guys can see out here. Take a look at the skies, a little cloudy and a little cooler, so I don't have to run the air, but this is going to be a little bit tasking. And once I got inside and I relaxed for the night, I decided that I was going to just stay inside because I knew what kind of task, like I said, this is going to be moving forward. Today I've got to draw the circle around, or draw the perimeter, the template for this thing, and then make a line that's a little bit closer in and make the cuts. The nice thing is I talked it over with Heidi and I said, is there any reason that you would want to keep the countertop piece as a whole, one piece, like I did on this one? And she said, no, I can't think of any. And I said, are you sure? I said, we might be able to use it for, you know, a tray that we put little feet on, you know, to set food on or something like that, maybe on the table. And she's saying, no, not really. Well, I may still do it. It's a little bit harder to do it all in one cut instead of taking pieces out of it, but it still could be done. We'll have to see how that works out. But yeah, let me go ahead and position this. I know one thing for sure. I'm not going to use Sharpie to draw on the counter because that Sharpie's a little bit hard to get off the counter where it's marked at. It's not so bad because usually the marks are underneath on the cut part of it, but whenever you're doing your initial outline, just to draw the first template, and like in this case, I don't want those lines to be there. So alright, so basically what I did was draw the outline, and it's really hard to see there, but there is a pencil line that's just outside this tape line. So now that I have something that I can write on, I'm going to get my Sharpie and I'm going to go 3/8 of an inch in, and I'm going to draw a line all the way around that matches the outside line, just 3/8 of an inch in. So it's just a smaller circle, because that's about the size of the flange once it drops in. And it's definitely centered. I did all the measurements like my shop teacher used to say, check, recheck, and check again. So they've been checked a bunch of times in a bunch of different ways. It's just a matter of getting the new line drawn, and then once I've got it drawn, I've got to do the cut. It's going to be a little bit tighter here because we're back. I might have to disconnect the drain on the sink and see if I can move the countertop out a little bit to make it a little bit easier. I'm going to disconnect the drain, and I'm going to cover up all this down here with some cardboard or something, or maybe a blanket, or we have a drop cloth over here somewhere. Yeah, there it is. We'll throw the drop cloth in there to keep all the dust off the new power inverter. Let me get the marking and cutting. Okay, so what I did was, of course, put the tape in the area in which there is going to be a cut. And then I drew this black line. After I measured at different points, 3/8 of an inch in, I just connected the dots and just kind of freehanded it. Now, if you want to do it correctly, you can get a compass with some sort of a marking utensil, and you can trace the line. I figured by the time I go get all that stuff, which is hidden away somewhere in my tools, amongst my tools, it'd just be easier to freehand it. So right now it's pretty much ready to be cut, and I think I have enough tape down to make sure that the countertop does not chip. That's my main concern, is just the chipping. Now, the good part about it is, even if it did chip, I don't think it's going to chip so far out that you're going to be able to see it. And if there is any chips that are happening along this edge that's getting kind of close in a couple of spots where the line is or the cut is, especially like right through here, I think that the flange will cover it, and we'll have a little bit of silicone, to help with the flange being seated so water can't get past it, because I don't want to, in case we spill a glass or something on here, I don't want water to be able to run underneath the stove. Now, I don't think the instructions say anything about putting a bead of silicone, but I'm definitely going to be doing that. I think it's the smart thing to do. So, let's see if we can get this thing cut. This is the part that I don't like. It's noisy and dirty. Alright, so the hole is cut, and I stayed inside the lines for the most part. There's always a little bit of adjustment. You can see where that plunge cut went in first, and that's because I made that one piece. I'll show you that in a second. But we'll fit this down in here. Let's see this here. And voila! There we are. That's going to be the new countertop, or stovetop, or just a window. Yeah, we can make it a window for something. Probably not. So the hard part's done, I believe. What I need to do now is secure this. Looks like that this has got a little bit of a bend to it right here. This was during shipping. There was a little bend here, there's a little bend here, and there was a little one here too. So I'm going to straighten that out just a little bit to get it to sit a little bit more flush in there. Luckily, this stuff is relatively pliable. And clean off all the blue tape all the way around. Clean the countertop real good in that area. And then what I'll do is I'll put silicone in and secure it to make sure that it doesn't go anywhere. Which, there's a couple of screws that hold it in, but you never know. You just never knew. But yeah, it fit better than I anticipated. I mean, there's a little bit of slop here, but not bad. Not bad at all. There's no gaps, so that's the most important thing. So we're all finished. I know the lighting in here is pretty poor. Actually, it's pretty good, but it's poor for the camera. But here it is. It's yeah, it's all done. It needs cleaned up. I mean, I've got spots on it and stuff, and of course the silicone that I used to seal it. Once that's cured, we'll go around and clean it up off the cabinet a little bit better. But it looks really good. It looks like this is going to be perfect. Again, the more expensive one had an electronic ignition on it, But this will get by. I mean, we can light it with a little stick lighter, as it was with our old stove. When we wanted to cook something, what we had to do is take the countertop piece off, or that butcher block stove top that I love. I mean, it was really nice because it gave us back some of our counter space. But you had to remove that, find a place for it, and then at that point you had to lift the lid, the whole stove top lid, which wasn't a big deal. It just clipped in place. But you lift it, and then you had to flip a little lever, and then you had to light the pilot. And usually what that entailed was turning on the gas on one of the burners to purge out whatever air may have gotten into the line, which for the most part, you know, during camping season, there is no air in the line. It's always got propane in there. But once that purged, and then we lit the pilot, you know, to where the gas, it was nothing but propane, we could light the pilot and it would stay lit. And then we would put the stove top back down, and then we would cook. Which was fine, except then whenever we're done cooking, we couldn't put that butcher block stovetop cover back on because everything was still hot. And on top of that, we would have to lift the stove to turn the pilot off. We didn't like that pilot running, you know, endlessly if we weren't going to be cooking. So, with that said, you heard the routine. Now you can see that here's the countertop. That we'll utilize as a countertop. Whenever we're ready to cook, this comes up, and then the stick lighter's got to come out. We turn this on and light the burner. Once we're all said and done, you turn it off, the flame goes away, and then this can go down pretty much right away. Now, it does say that you need to let the burner grates cool before you put the cover back down. Still, at least I have a place for the cover. You know, it's going to be up like it is right now. I did wish that it bent back a little bit further, so that there was no chance of us, you know, maybe climbing in and this thing coming down and slamming. But other than that, this is going to work out good. And as far as the centering and everything, pretty good. I think I might have it slightly tilted a little bit. Looks like the gap's slightly bigger over here than on this side. And when I say slightly, I think maybe 3/8 of an inch, possibly. And that was because whenever I was seating it in and I was running the screws in, the screws had a tendency to pull this cover, you know, kind of crooked inside the hole. Even though the hole's perfectly square, the stove wasn't locked into a nice square position. But it's, you know, 3/8 of an inch. It might even be under that. But it'll work for us. Sent a couple photos to Heidi. She's really excited. And yeah, and we got that other countertop too. Another piece that we can utilize for whatever. I went ahead and cut it out in one piece. Sanded the edges, and I think what we'll do in this case is put some kind of a covering on the bottom of it, some kind of legs, you know, something like this already has, and just have it laying around. I think what we'll do is use it actually on top of the table, maybe, to serve hot dishes, so we don't burn our table. Again, this is just speculation, but I mean, there was no sense in it. I thought, you know, I can cut it out in one piece. Let's go ahead and cut it out in one piece. Now, as far as the work that needs to be done going forward, the countertop is, the drain is reconnected. The countertop needs basically bolted or screwed to the cabinet now. We're into that position to where we need to do that. What I'm going to do back here is probably rip a small backer out of some of the wood that I have, just to take up some space back here. We'll put some liquid nail in between that gap and the backer that we put in, and you know, it'll be short, won't be very big at all. And then we've got that, again, the 3/4 round that will go into the length across here. And then I've got to, unfortunately, cut a 45 and go this way with it. And I'm not good at that. I have a miter box somewhere, but I think it must be junk because it just never seems to give me a real good clean 45. But I'll attempt it again. Then at that point, we'll go ahead and start letting Heidi paint she'll be able to paint all this area. Oh, that's right, I forgot. I've got to make some shelves down here. Well, I got more work than I thought. So I guess the next step, shelves, and then the front of the camper, and then maybe paint. We're getting there. It's slow, but we're getting there. So I think that's going to do it. I'll try to keep this video short, and I'm glad that we've gotten as far as we have as far as the custom countertop. I think that the table's going to be much easier because it's nothing more than securing in the right location. So I kind of know where the couch needs to be. I know where the dinette needs to go. The other thing I have to do is run the wiring for the batteries so they could go underneath the bench seat. Again, still contemplating the whole venting thing. I may vent, even though you're not, I said that I wasn't going to. I might make some sort of a crude vent, depending on what that corner turns out to be. Again, I'm going to reinforce that corner to make sure that it's well supported. And I think we'll be in pretty good shape at that point to have carpet put in. Because once all that stuff's built, Heidi has painted, now it's just a matter of getting some carpet in here, and yeah, I'll be happy with that. Again, we'll see what happens.